Hello and welcome back to Movies Reloaded. Today I'm going to explain a British romantic and comedy film, Cashback, released in the year 2006. So let's get into it. The story starts with a listless art student named Ben Willis being mistreated by Suzy, his first girlfriend. During the fight, he reflects on their time together and regrets that things ended this way. A few days later, Ben comments that he is about to finish his career as a fine arts student, whilst watching his ex-girlfriend Suzy flirt with someone else. The next day, he calls her and asks if they could get back together, but she turns him down and tells him that she has started a relationship with Steve, the guy she was seen flirting with at first. Ben wakes up in the middle of the night and begins to see the photos they had together. He decides to burn them in order to forget her, but when he is about to do so, he regrets it and puts them away again. Sometime later, Ben realizes that he can no longer sleep, and begins to suffer from unbearable insomnia every night because he can't stop thinking about her. One day, while buying some things in a supermarket, Ben notices that the store is looking for employees for the night shift and decides to sign up as he needs the money. He is interviewed by Mr. Jenkins, who is pleased with Ben's profile and hires him. Already working there, Ben tries to cover for a coworker who arrived late and tries not to be discovered by Jenkins. But Jenkins discovers her anyway and exhorts her, besides touching her ass. Later, Ben is sent to clean up some peas that fell into the hallway, and while doing so, he sees a woman and begins to reflect on how much a woman's curves inspire an artist. At that moment, Jenkins appears and admonishes Ben for not cleaning up the hallway yet. Ben talks about the art Sharon has specialized in, not watching the clock. The reason? To feel that time passes with greater speed. Then, Ben describes Matt and Barry, two buddies who have fun goofing around so they don't get bored. Ben has been sleeping deprived for 2 weeks and begins to feel the consequences of sleep deprivation, often confusing the past and the present. His tedious job makes him develop a new way to pass the time, imagining that he can freeze time to wander freely and interact with the environment. In this, Ben stops to contemplate the beauty of a woman who captivates him, and begins to remember a fragment of his past. When he was a child, his parents took in a university exchange student. She was deaf and dumb, so once she came out of the bathroom naked and didn't notice Ben. He was perplexed by the sight of her nakedness and began to feel a deep admiration for female beauty. Back in the present, Ben undresses the women immersed in his time-space and begins to delicately portray them. Then he redresses them and crunches his fingers to bring everything back to normal. Ben visits his friend and his friend asks him if he has been able to stop thinking about Suzy since their conversation always ends up being about her. Ben freezes time and begins to relive a memory from his past. He and his friend Sean have known each other since they were kids. In fact, Sean was the one who showed him a porn magazine for the first time. Sean recommends him to have an encounter with a Natalie, a term Sean uses to refer to a woman with whom you can have sex with without entering into a romantic relationship. He coined this term in honor of a girl who lived across the street from his house, who showed him her private parts in exchange for $50. Back at the store, Ben exchanges glances with Sharon, his coworker, but is interrupted by Barry and Matt, who pull down his pants for a joke. They meet again at the lockers and Sharon asks Ben for a bite of his sandwich, who readily accepts. He tries to freeze time to admire her beauty, but only succeeds in making time slow down and pass more slowly, making the moment even more precious. As he walks through the halls, he finds Barry and Matt restocking the toilet paper shelves. They tell him that Sharon agreed to go on a date with Matt. After hearing that Matt only intends to have a sexual encounter with Sharon, Ben begins to reflect on the superficiality of a crush and talks about his 3 crushes as a young boy. The first occurred when he was watching a track meet, and a young Russian runner competing barefoot caught his attention. The second crush was on his biology teacher, who made him think of the magazines he had seen with Sean. And finally, he fell in love with a classmate named Tanya, for whom he had very deep feelings. One day, Tanya went to school with a cast on her arm and aroused the admiration of all the children in the classroom. Ben watched with admiration every movement Tanya made with her immobile arm and saw the signatures of her classmates as artistic. After some time, the doctors removed the cast, and her classmates began to tease her for having too much on the arm she used to have the cast on. This prompted Ben to come over to comfort her, and the two began dating. Days later, the two meet in the back of school and experience an innocent moment of childish love, in which Tanya asks Ben to kiss her. He gets nervous and leaves, shouting in the distance that they would meet in the same place the next day. But she reminds him that the day will be Saturday, and they will not have classes. Ben goes to the appointment but does not manage to find Tanya. The following Monday, he discovers that Tanya and her family went on vacation to America, but never returned. Back in the present, Ben and Sean play a game of chess that turns out to be too easy for Sean, so he notices that there is something that Ben has been thinking about a lot. So he asks him about it. Ben replies that he's attracted to a coworker, but that someone else has already invited her to the movies. Sean replies that it doesn't mean that something is going to happen between them, so Ben feels more at ease. The next day at the store, Ben, Barry and their new partner are changing when suddenly Matt arrives and tells them that he slept with Sharon last night, which makes Ben very uncomfortable. At that precise moment, Jenkins enters the place and tells them that they will have a soccer game against another branch of the supermarket. On the day of the game, the group prepares to play against the other team, but are surprised to see the superior level they possess. Ben sees Sharon coming and greets her very nervously, but Matt bursts in and tries to steal her attention. Jenkins, who for some reason wears a sweatband despite not having a single hair on his head, rallies the team and tries to motivate them to do their best. The game kicks off and the opposing team scores, and they score quickly, and after that comes another, and another. The group loses 26-0. Jenkins asks for a second of time to be able to analyse a play in which all the responsibility falls on Ben, who must set up the play. Everything seems to go perfectly, but once Ben passes the ball to Jenkins, he misses the shot, and Matt kicks the ball again, violently hitting Jenkins in the face. At that moment, Ben stops time and begins to reflect on the usefulness of his skill. He also takes the moment to grab a soda, but is surprised to see another person begin to move in the frozen time. Ben snapped his fingers and restarted time. Then Jenkins asks Matt to take him to the hospital and Matt agrees, asking Ben to take care of Sharon. These two go for coffee and Ben asks Sharon if she and Matt are dating, but she tells him they just went to the movies as friends. She tells him that she broke up with her boyfriend months ago, and he tells her that he also broke up with his girlfriend, but only a few weeks ago. She tells him that she has been working at the supermarket for 2 years and started working there because she needed the money, as she had recently dropped out of college. Sharon tells him about her dream of travelling the world and meeting all kinds of people. She then asks what Ben's dream is, to which he replies that he wants to be a painter. Sharon replies that she has always wanted to meet a painter, as she admires his ability to identify the beauty in all things, and also to capture it in a painting that everyone can see. Ben escorts Sharon to her apartment and they shyly greet each other. The next day, Sharon visits Jenkins in his office to ask how he's doing. He replies that he is fine, but then it is revealed that the hit had a tremendous negative impact on him. He also invites her to a party he is giving to all the employees. On the way out, Sharon and Ben run into each other, and Sharon tells him about Jenkins' party, inviting him as her date. The group then goes to Jenkins' office, and Jenkins tells them that he is having a party for his birthday. He then gives Ben the task of hiring a stripper. Ben then goes to Sean's house and asks him to help him get one, but Sean makes it a condition to go to the party as well. They both go to a strip club and hire a woman. Ben still can't sleep for the 4th week in a row, but now his thoughts are occupied by Sharon and not Suzy. He portrays her in different ways and imagines her fulfilling her dreams of travelling the world. The two meet again at the lockers and agree on a time to go to the party, and she surprises him with a kiss, and Ben feels that Sharon broke the spell, as he was finally able to sleep. A phone call wakes Ben up and he answers. On the other end speaks the owner of an art gallery who invites Ben to exhibit one of his works. They both coordinate the meeting on Monday at 10 o'clock and he goes into shock. But after this it is revealed that who was behind the call was Matt, who was playing a joke with his friend. A montage shows the group getting ready for the party in front of their mirrors. Later, Ben stops by Sharon's house and tells her that he got an exhibition at a prestigious gallery. At the party, Suzy comes over to greet Ben and Sharon and tells her that Jenkins is her boyfriend's brother. Ben is uncomfortable with this and she leaves. Then the stripper shows up and does her routine on Jenkins in front of everyone. Sean discovers that the stripper is actually Natalie and they flirt together. Ben goes to the bathroom and runs into Suzy, who apologizes for everything that happened and tells him she still has feelings for him. But he again rejects her and she kisses him, but he pulls it off and realizes Sharon saw them. Ben stops time for 2 days to think about the best solution. As soon as he resumes time, she rushes home and he goes looking for her. When he arrives, she doesn't give him time to talk and the situation he had with Suzy at the beginning is repeated. The next day, he notices that she didn't show up for work, and he spends the night awake again. The next day, Ben goes to the art gallery and the owner notifies him that it wasn't her on the phone, but agrees to see his artwork anyway. When she sees them, she is surprised and they arrange an exhibition. Ben sends Sharon an invitation to the exhibition. Once at the event, a woman offers him another exhibition at a location of his choice. At that moment, Ben sees Sharon enter and replies to the woman that he would love to do an exhibit in Italy in the future, a place Sharon was eager to see. Sharon tours the gallery and notices that all the works have her as their muse. The two meet and reconcile by kissing. Ben freezes time, and thanks to the kiss, Sharon agrees to his time space as well. They both go outside the gallery and kiss again under the snow. And that is the end of the movie. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of this one. Make sure to subscribe and like the video, and we will see you in the next one.